we done on this market what brings us here? Because I've been telling members of parliament, the bigger people out there, so I felt in my heart that you need to take this message to leaders of districts, to our communities, because where will this market find what to buy? So, in Uganda, we've been acting more likely like a young man who is looking for a wife to marry. She's a beautiful girl. He wants her. But it's dark. And he is winking. But the girl is passing. The girl doesn't see that the boy is winking. That's what we've been doing on the market. Nobody sees us, but we are producing everything, but we don't sell. Now, so the market tells you what's the current price, what is the new I can create, and what is required of me to achieve what the market wants. So let me just give you a quick summary of what we are doing on the market. Let me take an example. On 30th of July, this month, we have asked the government of Uganda, 6 ministers, the one of agriculture, the one of trade, and others, not to take a lot of your time, and the president, to fly into a country called Serbia. Serbia is among 11 countries in Eastern Europe. They consume 1 billion euros worth of coffee. Their people spend 1 billion euros, that's 3.7 trillion Uganda shillings. Yet the population of Serbia is like 10 million. There are few. It's not a very rich country, but the expenditure is higher than ours. They spend another 1 billion euros on visiting other places, but they have never visited Uganda. When you mention Tororo Rock, they say, is that in Cairo? Nobody knows you, but this fantastic rock and the work that we are seeing this morning, nobody sees it. So we have opened a hub. In that country, in the main city, we are opening a Uganda trade hub. We call it Uganda Connector. So that the people there can drink our coffee, can eat our vegetables, our pineapples, our nuts, directly without going through Britain and other places. And I brought you, because I don't have time today, 2 people on our 13 products we are focusing on. 13. They are in this book. I want you to read on your own. They include beef, they include grains, and grains have millet, have maize, have sesame or simsim, and others. They include fruits, vegetables. Thankfully, this morning I saw how much vegetables we can do on 1/10 of an acre. And someone here will explain how much he pays to get those vegetables into Europe. Now, then we have tourism, we have poultry, we have sugar, and many others. They are in the book. So I have brought 2 people who will speak to you about our radical approach to the market. We call it radical because Uganda has never set up a trade hub. It has never appointed a trade representative in another market who should tell you what do they eat, how do they eat it, how do they want it. So I have a young man from Coffee, Nelson Tugume, stand up. He will speak to you about the Coffee Consortium. Remember last night the leaders I told you forming consortiums? So Ofono Yeri, sit. I want him to join the tourism consortium. Because in there we begin to speak the same language. We begin to do things that are standardized. Dr. Kanyije, stand up. He will speak to you about fruits and vegetables. You, sir. So for me, I'm just... I wish I can speak a language that... Because our words in Bantu or Luo are deeper than English. When I was a young boy, I saw my father every Thursday getting a panga with his neighbor, and they cut a pathway to protect children going to fetch water in the dark. Community responsibility. Then they would fence that water hole. And then if you brought your goats or cows in that water hole, every Tuesday they would sit under a tree and they ask the child who did it, they give him 10 lashes so that they should never do that. That community's responsibility has died. Now if If you slap a child, the child goes to court and police and politics. They vandalize things, you don't touch them. Anyway, so me, the role I'm playing is to open that pathway, but the real people who lead these sectors, I want them known to you. I could only get 2, but there are 10, 12, because we formed a committee of 44 people, which I chair, and that's the work I'm doing, and we work with a target. Why? Because the market demands that you approach it with a target. So if I ask you in Tororo, what is your target product and the money attached to it in the next 1 year, and who is producing that crop, and how much do you hope to attract, and what do you need to put in to attract that? Would anyone put up their hand and tell me? I could ask that of Palisa. So I don't want you to be general. The market kills those who are generalities. The market eats you, finishes you when you are a meandering generality. The market wants a meaningful specific. Can you catch those words? They mean 2 different things. You know a meandering generality? Where is the target for you as an institution of government? What's the target for the Department of Works? To keep roads open. What's the target for the Department of Agriculture? It's not a target for, I have delivered 100 million shillings. I have a target on paper. It is what did the 100 do? That's how businesses work. To avoid being a meandering generality, you need to be a meaningful specific. Do a few things, but do them very well. Okay? So that market demands something else. It demands, did you understand me on the market? I am really rushing because I could tell you how much we are investing in developing the markets where we go. We do some research. We appoint a trade representative. We ensure that we know which products. I had brought a video to you thinking we'd play it. You would see someone speaking another language in another country, but explaining Uganda coffee, Uganda pineapples on a talk show in the morning, and he is watched by 11 million people talking about Uganda. That's how you deal with the market. So when you have a market, quickly, the market demands that you have a particular standard. Each market requires that you comply to that standard. Now, in this book, because of lack of time, which I will give you, you will see how we are trying to create a standard. To create a standard, you start with a law to govern the food that goes in your cow, in your goat, the chemicals that you use in your crops. Because if you don't have a standard on protecting those crops, every day they are destroyed outside in those markets, and Uganda pays a fine. So there are 11 laws that we are working on. Thankfully, there are members of parliament like my brother who understand, who really wants to fix this. Some others are interested in other things. I don't want to waste time. I have been in those meetings and I see the lack of leadership on really what matters. So in this book, there is 11 rules and regulations we are working on, and we will ensure that there is a food safety law, so that this meat you are selling on the roads, it is the same meat that these Muzungus are taking pictures and sharing. So when you say we have organic grass-fed beef, they say, what? We have seen you on the street with flies. The tourist who you are hosting in that room and turns on a tap and there is poor plumbing and you've charged him more money, he tells a sister and a brother that the building looks very good, but inside they don't know how to handle tourists. So it's not the glittering of a building or a school that produces the children. It is the teaching that is there. It is not the niceties of a hotel and the lights. It is whether the customer service in the hotel brings back people. But these are things leaders need to share with people. But people who are entrepreneurs, Entrepreneurs create what is not there. Entrepreneurs don't have to be 25-year-olds. There is a company called Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. The man created it when he was turning 68. And now it is a global brand. Anywhere you are, you can still make it. In fact, for me this morning, something told me in my heart, you tell the people of Tororo and the PACEID that you are enough. You know what that means? I am who I am. I can make it. All I need is to know what I really need to do. I don't need any help. When a man or woman knows I am enough, they are resolved to fix their problems. So standards and compliance, very, very important. But it is not Ruabogo asking for it. Who is asking? So how will you know you don't have a food safety law? You put chemicals in food. You put in animal feeds. Because an animal, you feed it, you eat it. If you have put bad chemicals, you suffer. That's why some cancers are increasing in urban areas. It is not Ruabogo. Ruabogo, they insult him. They call him names. But you find another man to do what the market is doing. What? Because we have been in this for 62 years. Why don't we sell more? It is because we have not fixed this. Number 3, very quickly, when you have a market and the market has demanded a standard, obviously you need to do infrastructure that allows you to sell quickly. What is infrastructure? It is those facilities that make it cheaper for you to produce and get to the market faster than others. You know the word organization? Organization. It comes from a Latin word organo. That's how you have organ. Your stomach and your heart is called an organ. But if you play music, there is an instrument called an organ. If you go to churches, the old churches, they have these huge pianos. They are also called. It tells you that to be in the market, to comply, you have to have a certain level of organization, because every day many things are happening in your body you don't notice, but they are working. But often, for me, here I find that you don't have a lab to check the standard even when you have gotten the market. So someone has struggled with the market, but the lab is not there. You check what you have. You only have to fly your fruits and vegetables into Europe. But could you not use a vessel on the sea? Could you not use a refrigerated truck? Could you not have he's asking for a veterinary center here. The veterinary center should be certified internationally so that whatever it does, people can feel confidence and trust that it works. So I am very happy that we are making a road from Tororo to where? To Busia, right? But the return on that road is going to be what we put on that road. Because we borrow money to build infrastructure. But to borrow money and put a road and electricity and then graze goats there, what have you done? You must organize our communities to say, now that we have the fundamental basis infrastructure, we could do more. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I'd like to hear from you. Please email us at info@tapmedia.com and visit our website at www.tapmedia.com. You can also visit our offices located at Tomosi Business Park, Luzira, Port Bell Road, or call 0414-220-702. Thank you.